So you plan on buying a 4th gen Dodge Ram, but there's one thing, you've been hearing a lot of bad rumors about these trucks. So in today's video, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys some of my clarification about why most of these stuff that you hear, misconceptions about these trucks, are not true. And I'm going to be giving you guys some of the facts about this. You know, honestly, there's a lot of stuff out there about these trucks being unreliable and stuff like that. So that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So first thing first, welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday. We almost there at the end of the week. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. And if you're a fan of Mopars, or if you a fan of these Dodge Ram, 4th gen Dodge Ram 1500, this is what my channel about. Every once in a while I probably post stuff about myself, but if you're a fan of trucks, fast cars, stuff like that, definitely subscribe to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. So let's get into talking about some of these myths that a lot of people talk about on the internet, or just, you know, stuff that you hear about the Ram 1500, mostly in general too, that I'm covering is the 4th gen Dodge Ram, as I am an owner of a 2014 Dodge Ram 1500. So I'm going to be clarifying some of these things. If this got you wondering, like, damn, you wanted to get one of these trucks now that you heard some of these stuff that people saying, kind of got you a little bit disappointed where you don't want to buy one no more. So I'm going to help you decide. So I'm give you guys my top 5 misconception stuff that I hear before, even before I became a Dodge Ram guy. You know, I used to like Ford Mustangs and stuff like that, to be exact. So before I got into the Rams, I used to hear a lot of these things too. Like I said, this is my 3rd Dodge Ram 1500 I ever owned. So number one thing that I hear a lot is something that I don't know why, but a lot of people tend to say that these trucks do not last long, especially if you get a high mileage. It's not going to last you that long. Pretty much they're saying that, you know, number one, let me clarify. If you saying something not going to last long, you got to have like legit facts to be able to back that up. Like, you got to have a lot of fact, like not just one person, not just when something happened to 1 or 2 people, or let's say probably 10 or 15% of people out of 100. That means that, oh, that's 100% correct. So with me, this is how I go about it. They saying that it don't last long. Either number one, people who say stuff like that is because they probably bought something like a bad truck that wasn't really well taken care of, and whoever owned it before, they didn't really do maintenance and stuff on it and stuff like that. So it got to the point where it got into the next person's hands and they did the same exact thing. Most of the time, that's how it end up being when, like, people, for my personal experience, like I said, I owned 3 of these trucks before, and they all had high mileage. The first one had a super high mileage. It was like 200 something plus. Still running strong, 0 issue. Like, only issue was probably little maintenance every now and then, which is something expected. So people who tend to say they don't last long are like they gotta have facts over facts to really be able to prove something. Like I said, if it's 15% out of 100% people that went through that, only 15% experience that doesn't mean that truck, like these trucks, doesn't last past 200 plus miles. Like, I've seen some on there that had at least like 300 plus miles on there, still running strong and stuff like that. So definitely do your research before you try to, you know, listen to what I guess the naysayers will say. Pretty much, don't never listen to what somebody else is saying. Go experience it yourself, you know. And I'm telling you right now, not to convince you, but I'm telling you, from me, I own a Ram, so I'm sitting in a Ram right now. So, I mean, what else can I really tell you? So, my number 2 is gonna be exhaust manifold bolts break. I have heard something like that, but I wouldn't say I have heard a lot of people complain about something like that. But I've heard a couple of times where people say like the exhaust manifold on these trucks tend to break majority of the time, especially for the 4th gen Dodge Ram. So there's different kind of boats. Like, I guess they break by themselves, or over time, if you probably change the manifold or something like that, sometimes it probably will break on you. But I have heard, you know, a couple guys, I wouldn't even say couple, I probably heard like 1 or 2 people say, you know, complain about that. So that personally, me, I haven't, so hopefully not. But I can't sit here and say, oh yeah, it's not gonna happen to you. But you gotta think, stuff like this, whenever it comes to people telling you things about cars, it's cause most of the time it's like, just cause they experienced that with that same car brand doesn't mean you're gonna be experiencing it with you're gonna experience the same exact issue. Most of the time it's not like that. Number 3 is gonna be the tire wear out pretty quick. That's one that I guess I heard some people, you know, some people I say, I'm one of the ones, I'll be honest, like I experienced that before, but I don't, like, I'm not gonna sit here and say it was because of, oh, I own a Dodge. My tires wear out on my truck because number 1, I had some wide tires on there, and they need an alignment badly. Like pretty much need I needed to get an alignment badly after I got it lifted up. So, you know, and most of the time, like if you got a truck lifted up at a certain height, and then if you got some super wide wheels on there, majority of the time it's gonna be hard for your alignment to really try to stay in place. So you gotta constantly go through getting alignment done. So that was the reason why I went through the tire wear out thing, but it definitely wasn't. I wouldn't sit here and say it was because of that, because of the fact that I own a Dodge Ram 1500. That's another poor excuse, misconception that people just tend to say stuff sometimes, where it's like, if you don't have facts over facts over facts, I'm not gonna listen to you, but I'm just gonna hear it, but I ain't gonna try. That's not gonna stop me from wanting to do something that I want to do because you had a bad experience with it. So stuff not always how it's saying, pretty much. Number 4, my bad. It's gonna be, a lot of people tend to say, Dodge, they rust a lot faster. Like, they rust a lot faster. I'm confused about, like, how can, if you telling me every truck out there, right? Every car out there is made out of like metal or some kind of metal or something like that, you know, like aluminum and stuff like that. Like, it doesn't mean, like, I'd be honest, the 3rd generation Dodge Ram, they have the rust on the bed, but every car at the end of the day, or truck at the end of the day, they rust. Like, you're gonna see some kind of rust if you don't take care of, like, because that's just how things is. That's how science is. Dirt, salt, all that stuff create rust over time. So I don't get how they saying just Ram rust, but every truck out there rust, man. Everything that has a metal on there rust. So whoever came up with that misconception that Ram is a truck known for a lot of rust, it's cap, because I'll say they rust certain spots, yeah, but every truck goes through a rusting phase. Like, it's metal at the end of the day. So don't try to believe everything that somebody tell you. My next one, number 5, is gonna be, I heard a lot of guys talking about this is something, this kind of big, because this is something I've been hearing a lot. Like, the 5.7 Hemi motors are junk, pretty much. So this is a huge misconception that I heard plenty of times, how the 5.7 Hemi motor is a junk. They can't last, this and that. The Hemi ticks, this and that, when you get to a certain amount of mileage. Once again, I'm gonna clarify this. It comes down to you doing regular maintenance with anything that freaking, any motor at the end of the day. You gotta do the maintenance and you got to take care of this. You can't just beat on ish and abuse the mess out of it and think that it's going to be 100% the same the next day. Pretty much it doesn't work like that. So these are not true. 570 Hemi motor is one of the best motor out there, created by Dodge Ram, and definitely can't possibly compete with the you know, Scat Pack blocks, even the Hellcat blocks. They all like similar in some kind of way, and you could make a lot of power with a 570 Hemi block if you're willing to put the money and stuff into it. Like, you can make a lot of power with it. So these are my top 5 misconceptions that a lot of people tend to talk about the Ram 1500 or the Dodge Ram or Ram, whatever you want to call it at the end of the day. These are all the consumptions out there. Don't believe anything anybody say on the internet at the end of the day. Do your own research. I'm not here to give you advice. I'm just a guy who trying to chase his dream, and I'm just telling you my own personal experience with these trucks and how I personally feel about it. So make sure you do your research, but don't let somebody else's opinion convince you to stop doing something that you want to do, a decision that you want to make. If it's, I get it, if it's reasonable, okay, but if it's something that you just, that like somebody like a naysayer saying like, oh, this, that, and when I mean naysayer, I'm saying people who tend to always like talk without trying to like, without people who just talk at the end of the day, love talking, saying stuff, but can't really take a look at themselves to be able to understand what's going on with themselves and stuff like that. That's what I mean by naysayer. So, well, hopefully this video helps you get a little bit of clarification on a Dodge Ram 1500 or Ram 1500, and go ahead and get, you know, go ahead if you want to buy one of these trucks, go ahead and definitely do so. I encourage you. It's definitely a good all-around daily driver that you could have for yourself or a family or a son, whoever. And that's gonna be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.